Hello, so I'm just gonna attempt to talk about as much as I can remember from the top of my head about crime, no, not crime, about sociology and media. And yeah, so this is basically just a revision video, sort of, just to see how much I can remember. And I know I haven't been doing as much work on this as I should have been recently, but here I am now. Okay, and I really don't know a lot about this topic. So yeah, I'm just going to talk about the things I can remember. For example, all world media is owned by around 5 people now. But back in 2004 it was 7 people, and this is what Curran found out, the sociologist. So yeah, that was a thing. Yeah, but now it's only 5, and one of those people is Rupert Murdoch, and yeah, so he basically owns most of the world media, and this idea is called the concentration of ownership, meaning that media concentration is media ownage is concentrated to a small number of people, and this also makes us question whether or not the media has a bias, which we would assume it definitely will have a bias if it's concentrated to 5 people. Also, considering the fact that these 5 people are very rich, they're going to want to push an ideology which perhaps suits them. So they push the ruling class ideology through their media. And a good example of this is the Fox News documentary from, or something about Rupert Murdoch's influence on Fox News or something, and how he basically uses them as an outlet to push his right-wing ideology, and yeah, and just push his own political agenda. Yeah. Okay, so there's that. I think he's also part of a transnational corporation, or also known as a global conglomerate, which means that it's he basically he owns corporations all over the world. Like, so he's not just in one country necessarily. I think that's what that means anyway. That's my guesstimation. I can't think of anything. Okay. Okay. Now we can look a bit into some perspectives. Oh, yeah. We can look into some perspectives. There's something like horizontal something Asian, which I can't remember, but that's what Rupert Murdoch has. Okay, we'll look at pluralism now. Pluralism is basically the idea that the media, well, within the context of the media, pluralism is the idea that the media meets the needs of multiple different audiences. So it's not necessarily just suited to one audience. It has like an unbiased array of channels and things like that to suit people with all different wants and needs. Yeah. Pluralists believe that the media is concentrated, and they believe that the purpose of the media is to make money. And so in doing so they put out media channels which are requested or viewed by the public, and the ones which are viewed the most are the ones which are perhaps put on more often, because those are the ones that are making money for the media outlets. So yeah. Okay, Marxists say that the media is in place to push the ruling class ideology and create a false class consciousness in the proletariat by making them by pushing the ruling class ideology, which is basically, and also pushing meritocracy, which is basically like if you work hard, you'll get a job. An example of this is Jeremy Kyle. So if you watch Jeremy Kyle, which I don't watch anymore, but this happens. Jeremy Kyle is basically he tells, so that it's all working class people, so it almost builds up an image of a working class person within our minds, or some sort of stereotype that all working class people don't work, or they don't try in society and they don't cooperate and they're just living off benefits. And then he tells them to get a job, do this, do that, be a functioning member of society. So he's pushing that ideology onto those people who go on the show, but also the people who watch the show, because that's going to impact them too. Because Jeremy Kyle, he's like, I guess he's a credible figure, so people are going to look up to him. And yeah, so and this is called meritocracy, the idea that we all have an equal opportunity to succeed, or if we work hard, we can achieve things. But Marxists believe this is an illusion because the middle class and the upper class have a benefit over the proletariat, and this links back to education, where basically the upper class have had a better socialisation and the richer, so they can basically afford to buy their way into perhaps a private schooling system, and this is automatically putting them at an advantage, whereas the working class are basically told to go to school, work hard, so they can get a working class job anyway. That's what Marxists think anyway. Okay, so basically I've gone a bit astray there, but Marxists think that the media is purposefully using these tactics to control us and to keep us as slaves to the system and stop us from, and by promoting the ruling class ideology, this supposedly stops us from revolting and starting a revolution. Okay, I'm just trying to leave my views on Marxism out of this, and my views on all of it out of it. I'm just trying to talk as objectively as possible because I could have a rant, but I won't. So neo-Marxists are like, they're like Marxists, but they're newer. So they're basically, we learned something today about them. Something University Group, and it spells like GAMG, GAMB, and it's like a sexual health clinic, and that's how I remember it. There's something GUMG, something University Group, something group, I don't know, something like that. And this is basically neo-Marxist, and they believe that the media doesn't purposefully set out to control us. It does it by accident or unintentionally. So basically, most of the media people, or the people who report the news, are middle class, so they're in tune with the ruling class ideology, so they're pushing their own ideology onto society and their own opinions. So it's not necessarily that they're setting out to say, oh, let's go try and make the working class, I guess, conform to society. It's just that that's the way they've been raised, so they're the issues, so they're going to deal with middle class issues. And yeah, so the mid, like, because they're middle class, they sort of push that ideology, so meritocracy, because they've worked hard to get to the position that they're at in society, so they're just assuming, well, everyone else can do that too. But as we've already discovered, that's not the case, because some people are at an advantage and some people are at disadvantage, and that's just purely because of perhaps the background we've been born into, our class, or whatever, ethnicity. All those play a part in how successful we will be at life. And obviously that we can say that this is a little bit deterministic, perhaps, the fact that your class determines your fate, that if you're a working class person, you're doomed to be living off benefits for the rest of your life or be in a shitty job. But that's not necessarily the case, because some working class people do actually work hard and they do end up going to university, and that is probably becoming a lot more apparent in this society, perhaps modern day society, than it used to be. Uh, Maybe due to globalization and the fact that people have access to the internet, and maybe they're becoming more inspired to perhaps step outside of the regular social expectations of just going out getting a job. It's like now we can educate ourselves online. We can do all this like cool stuff, and like I guess it would make us aspire a little bit higher. But I don't know. That's speculative. But I guess it's a point. Yeah, I can't remember anything else about the media, but I don't think I've missed anything too important out. Actually, I've probably missed a lot of important things out, but I think I've discussed very, very, very vaguely or briefly three perspectives on media, and a little bit about the concentration of ownership. By the way, all these three perspectives believe that ownership of the media is concentrated, but I think I mentioned that already. Yeah, but it's just whether they think it's a good thing or a bad thing. I think, yeah, pluralists think it's a good thing, maybe, and the other two think it's a bad thing, so neo-Marxists and Marxists. Yeah, okay, that's it. Thanks for watching.